DragCast episode. What episode is this?
180?
Let's try it again. DragCast episode 180. We are coming to you live from our living rooms. That's right, we are separate together. We are socially distanced, socially distancing, but physically distancing, but not really socially, here together with you for DragCast.
I love it.
Let's play ball. We're here together. Hi, Pats.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my God, I'm wonderful. It's DragCast with Nina West. My name's Andrew.
And I'm Patricia.
And it's episode 180. It's been like 2 weeks since we did our first welcome back, our second episode, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, our first couple of episodes back.
Yeah, and we were hightailing it, and then we had a feeling that we would be socially, like we would be have a stay at home kind of order, so we paused, and so here we are.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Not looking at the table across the table at you. It's just me and my computer.
It's really weird. I mean, this is like a completely different beast, and I'm kind of trying to get used to it all, you know?
Yeah, but you've been doing... So one of the things that I think is great about this is like you've been doing all these shows like everyone else has, but you have been doing all these shows from your living room. How's it going?
Yeah. It is a whole different kind of approach to like how you do a show. So I'm gonna have to like probably start really putting some YouTube videos out. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I'm such a stage performer.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get used to doing all of the stuff at home and really being in my living room and having the dogs run around. Today I mean, this is the truth. Today I did a live show on for the digital drag fest. And I did my kids show. And
I watched the show.
It was really fun. And then at the end of the show, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna. Oh my God, I'm surprised these kids are gonna love it, and I'm gonna set up confetti in my house. And I set up the confetti, and my house alarm went off.
Like it was like a handheld confetti popper.
It went. The alarm went off because of the. It was so funny, and so in the middle of my live stream, like I get a call from my security company. I mean, it was like
everything's fine.
I felt real. I want you to know that I felt seen. I felt like the security company really did see me, and I felt heard, and I felt understood. They knew it was an emergency for me to end that live when I did.
No, it was so fun. I think I definitely miss going out and seeing a live performance of any kind. But there's also like now, and it's not that there haven't been YouTube videos and there haven't been people going live. I just think people have upped it a bit what they're going live with. And it's kind of fun to watch a show just like in your sweatpants at home, just like how I've been working, but more fun.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting because so like almost every drag queen I know is now in the space and is doing live performances of some way or another, trying to make money and trying to keep their business going, which is really interesting. It's just kind of a part of the culture and the economy of drag right now. But It's also interesting to see. I'm really curious to see when all of this is said and done, how this will change drag, because this will change drag. Like this, I don't know how it will change it, and maybe you have some ideas yourself, but like this will forever. This experience of us gathering around our computers or our streaming services on our televisions and our phones to watch queens perform is going to. I personally think this type of performance will stay. Because it is so important to how people, like, it's already been around, but like I think that how queens make money, this has now become a very viable option. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people go back to the way we've all been kind of doing it mostly. But I have a feeling that this is going to be, this is going to be a part of it. What do you think?
I think that exactly that. I definitely feel like it would be sad if it didn't go back into the nightclub and it didn't go back into like the underground, you know, uh not that it's all underground, but like it would be sad if you couldn't go out to your neighborhood bar or club and see drag. To me, that is like that is the best way to experience it. Um even like but I do think it's definitely I love experiencing it online right now. I think it will definitely stay online because, as you said, it has been on there, and there have been people doing weekly shows, YouTube series.
Mhm.
There are people in this drag space that have been utilizing like live streaming in these platforms. But I think you're right. There's something to monetizing it, and I think there could be some queens that are only in this space. And then I think it'll probably depend on the performer, but I think there's an audience for both kinds.
Oh, absolutely. And I do think drag is in its at its core. I think drag is born in like live performance, and
Hmm.
like whatever type of performance that may be, drag I think is centered in that. And seeing a queen live, like you said, it's like seeing a queen in the wild. You know what I mean? I think that has value and tremendous worth, and so I hope people um don't. I mean, people will go back to it, but
Yeah.
I hope they flock back quickly to venues, especially queer spaces and gay LGBTQ plus spaces that
Yeah.
are designed to not only have a performance art like drag be there, but also be a celebration of the community. I'm so concerned, not to like jump topics, but
Oh
I'm so
yeah.
concerned that like we're gonna see the loss of queer spaces. I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I think we may have talked about this before, but I
Mhm.
I wonder if it is a bit of
Yeah.
the connectivity that we have via apps and online. I mean, I think if anything, this experience is making us all realize how physically social we are, like how we do want to go out and be among people, and how we
Yeah.
maybe take that for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe this will see the resurgence of that. But I do wonder, why that is that it feels like there aren't as many spaces, like queer spaces and bars and stuff. At least here in Columbus, there aren't.
Yeah, no, we've definitely lost our queer spaces in a vast way, at least in the city. But here's to hoping something like this will revive queer nightlife and I think a sense of community as a whole. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of the thing that I keep talking about in these like in the lives that I'm doing. So if you're not watching my lives, a lot of the lives that I do are story time or oriented or children's based programming. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is kindness and gratitude and how to receive, right, like in the concepts that are I think really important, especially during this time, knowing that you have value and you have worth even if you might feel alone. How to be kind to someone else, especially if you're in tight quarters or close spaces with the same people. How to express gratitude to people who are making sacrifices for us daily. um, and so I think those are important things, and I really hope that those kinds of lessons and those values kind of find their way back into into the daily conversation.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know, because I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about in tonight's episode is the reaction that I have received to those story times. And hopefully we can get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But before we do, we have got a lot. Patricia, I don't even know where to even begin with this because we have so much coming up on DragCast.
Including new sound effects.
Yeah, we do. Like it's like an NPR sound effect. I love it. Okay,
We have
but
much coming
but
up
okay,
on DragCast with Nina West.
we do.
That's
We have a ton of stuff coming up.
that was my
So
NPR voice.
in the next, I love your NPR voice. You should just you are a regular. I can't even think of anyone from NPR right now. I can't even. I listen to it every day.
I'm not going to help you out.
You're a regular that person. But no, we are going to over the next few weeks. We're taking advantage of the opportunity to of being home and grounded as everyone else is in the world to talk to some of our very favorite people. So we have major, major episodes coming up, including Patricia. Do you want to talk about some of the people we have coming on?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had so many great conversations and we have so many on the books, but I'm very excited we have a Ross Matthews episode coming up from
I'm
Drag
sorry.
Race.
I'm sorry. What?
What? Nina didn't know we drugged her.
No, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for that one. I mean, I'm excited for all of these. Who am I kidding? Like, I have no business talking to most of these people.
We've got for Bob's Burgers, we have one of the directors and one of the creatives, Simon Chong. We've talked to Simon, who is amazing. He will be here
Yeah.
chatting with. He's fantastic and phenomenal.
Just yeah, like I love talking to creative people about how they create. So you should definitely check that one out. Um, we
We've
have
also recorded. Yeah, tell him.
go ahead. No.
Tell him. It's so
Oh,
hard.
we
Go.
have we have so we have Ross Matthews, another comedian we have is Fortune Feimster. Um,
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
brilliant. So fun, so funny. I'm such a fan. And then
Well, I
for
want to while we're here, I want to push her episode of not her episode, but I want to also promote her very huge, awesome special comedy special on Netflix called Sweet and Salty. Which, if you haven't seen it, just go watch it. That episode that we recorded with Fortune will probably be out within the next 2 weeks or a week and a half. But in the meantime, please go watch the special before you listen to the episode because it is so good, and you will love her even more if you haven't seen it already. Who
yeah,
else?
and we all need a laugh right now. And then like we have several TV actors. We have Jackie Tone, most
Oh,
famously from Glow.
love
Um,
her.
she is so much fun. I can't say enough about how much fun I had talking to her.
I
And
couldn't stop laughing during that
I
episode, and
know.
it felt we got done talking to her, I felt renewed in some crazy way. So that episode will be out as well in a couple weeks.
And then we have Jared Harris from Chernobyl and Mad Men, most famously, and his wife, Allegra. They were super fun. So we have them coming
Oh,
up. And then Charlie Barnett from Netflix's Russian Doll. He's on You, he's on Tales of the City. He's basically in everything that's streaming on Netflix right now. And he is just a delightful person.
and Patricia,
Yes. Who else do we have?
I'm telling you what, it's not dark sided, honey. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am for our chat with Daisy Ridley, which we recorded yesterday, and it is fantastic. It may be my favorite episode of DragCast we've ever done.
Agreed. I mean, it's amazing to get to talk to somebody who is so famous and so grounded. And I had such a blast talking to
Uh,
her.
she is. There's so many things to share. We talk about her love of RuPaul's Drag Race. We talk about Great British Baking Show.
Mhm.
We even talk about
There's some
some
spoilers ahead.
yeah. We even talk about some well, we're not giving away anything. We even talk about what I had it in my head. I wanted to say. Well, we talk about why she left social media, and
Yeah.
we go there, and I think that's really the exciting thing about almost every interview that we've done so far, and we have quite a few on the books. Like this Friday, we will be interviewing Patricia Clarkson, which is super exciting. And we will also be talking to today, as you listen to this episode, we'll be talking to Casey Levy of Broadway fame, who is supposed to go up in the revival of Caroline or Change, but was most recently seen as Elsa and originated the role of Broadway Elsa in Frozen. And Michael J. Scott, who's originated several roles on Broadway and is currently on Broadway in Disney's Aladdin. Those interviews will be tomorrow, but every single interview or I mean today. We've so,
They
but
will be happening soon, and then they'll be out over the next several weeks. So just keep watching, watching our socials for when those are coming out.
but the exciting thing is, the exciting thing is that the people really are allowing themselves to, I think, be open and honest and have conversations that maybe are a little bit more, I think, raw and real and grounded. At least all these people that we've talked to are very, I think, real and
Yeah,
grounded anyway. But I'm excited to have our listeners listen to a whole new side of DragCast and to attract a whole new family of listeners who will hopefully go with us for another ride now that Patricia and I
another
have
crazy ride.
another crazy ride, which is great because I mean, before we're gonna take a quick break here in a second, but what is really great about that is that we have been able to now figure out how to do DragCast while I'm on the road, which is really good because we couldn't figure it out. Now that the quarantine has made us do research and figuring out how we would talk to one another.
Yes,
uh,
stop yelling at the computer. We know you all already knew how we're just old and not technically savvy.
but welcome back to DragCast. We'll be right back, and we're going to be talking about some fun stuff, including things that we're binging right now, and of course, what everybody's talking about, Tiger King, among many other things. This is DragCast and Nina West. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DragCast. It's Andrew.
And Patricia.
Okay, so Pats, you have been in this delightful quarantine now for how long?
I think is this week 3 or I think I'm going into the 3rd week of
Yeah.
working from home, and really stay at home has been on for most of that time. So yeah, it's a long time.
It is a really long time. It's weird, right? And we just got the news. So today is now April. Oh, hi. Today's not April 1st. Happy April
Happy
Fool's Day,
April Fool's
girl!
Day. This isn't even really an episode. April Fools.
This whole thing has not been a joke. um, Edgar is really. Stop. Sit down. Can you hear him?
Not really. No.
Can you hear him?
Oh yeah, he's talking a little. He said, "Oh."
Okay, go get your ball. Yeah,
Now we can hear him. He said, "Oh, you can't hear me?"
He's been very. Edgar has a sense of when we're recording anything in the house. He wants to be a star.
I
Um,
listened to another very famous podcast today, and the one of the hosts was complaining his dog only barks during during the recording. So I was like,
it's
we can
true.
relate.
It's like they know. Yes, this is week 3, really, and it's been crazy. Now, in this time, what now that we have gotten to this point, have you developed any new habits so far?
My new commute is like 3 minutes, so it was already a bad habit of me sleeping in, but now I'm just like, now I'm not even worried about it. I'm like sleeping in, then I wander over to my desk. I new habits. No, I don't think so. I'm staying pretty consistent. Like most of my work days are spent pretty much the same, like in front of the computer, but without like, or on conference calls, but without like the social aspect of like chatting with people and having like a side conversation about something. So, I'm having a side conversation with the walls. What about you? New
Um,
habits?
I have new habit. I have. I don't know. I don't. I mean, the podcast has become a definite routine for us, which I really like.
Oh yeah.
Um, the story times has been a nice distraction. I have tried, and I hope to get back to it tomorrow. I started running again, and by running I mean walk run. doing interval training. By that I mean like a couch to 5K program because I would need to keep my body active because I can like by not being on stage
Yeah.
and exerting that physical energy, I have a lot of pent up energy, and I know even for a big boy, like I still like I need to constantly move. I think I just think I don't know what it is about me, but
No, I also think like there's something to that. Like I feel like I'm sitting a lot more because I can stand at work at my desk, and so I am like a little, and also I'm snacking a lot more because I have grocery supplied for a few weeks, and just on hand snacks and like 24-hour access to the snacks, nothing
yeah,
to distract me. So that's probably a really smart habit to get into, kind of stay
it's not
ready.
really staying in shape, honey. Yeah, you don't got to get ready if you stay ready.
Stay ready,
No,
girl.
stay ready,
No.
queen. No, it's like I mean that's the other part of the problem though is I'm constantly eating. I was talking to somebody today, and I was like, I know I don't think I have Corona or COVID-19 because loss of appetite is supposedly a symptom, and I have
I'm good.
bitch, I cannot stop eating. I'm like, I don't think I'm good right now. But yeah, it's crazy to be in this situation where you don't ever think you're gonna be in it. And again, same person that I was talking to today is like, what's unique is all of us globally are experiencing some sort of the same thing. This
Yeah.
idea of um, isolation, probably anxiety, maybe a
Mhm.
little bit of fear, just
Uncertainty.
uncertainty. I was gonna say lack of clarity, and wanting and probably wanting to maybe get out of the house a little bit. But I think the best we can do right now, Patricia will say it, I'll say it, stay inside, don't go out. It's more than social distancing, like physical distancing. It really is about really, and it's more than just staying 6 feet away from somebody. It really is about
Yeah.
staying home unless you
So
really need something.
yeah, like I was watching that on like press conference today, and it was just basically like not from that orange thing. When that comes on, I just turn it off. I figure some experts will distill the real important information, and that will get put in the news somewhere, and I'll find it later. But yeah, and just kind of the idea is like the social distancing 6 feet apart is for those really essential trips, like you have to go to the grocery store, you need something, you're out for a run. You can usually go out for a run without being near people, but like you have to be more conscious of like, okay, how far away am I from people? Am I running
Mhm.
like right next to somebody? That's not doing it. But like, so it's really for more of those times, like when you have to be out of your house, you're safe to be out of your house. It's not like let's get together and
Yeah,
hang
yeah,
out 6 feet away from each other. But I did that in the beginning because I thought that was the recommended advice.
yeah. It
And
was. As we're going on, it's confusing because everything has changed as we've done. You know what I mean? As it's all been going along, right?
yeah,
So they're saying the U.S. may have the highest death toll of all of this when everything is said and done.
well,
That should be a sobering fact to most of us, if not all of us, that we should, in fact, stay home.
yeah, it's an important component of managing this. I don't know. But yeah, it is interesting. I think I said this like the first episode back. It is such an illustration of how connected we are to one another. Like even if we don't want to be, even if we are divided on our views, like everybody who has a body, right? Like we're in this together. So it's such a like stark illustration of that, and I do think there is something about like this is happening all over, and so while you may get a little lonely, everyone's kind of experiencing some version of that. I think that's such a good point. You know what I'm doing to pass the time? I think you do, or what I just
Uh,
finished doing.
oh my God! Wait, can I? I don't know. I mean, if it is what is it what the
It's
rest of
what
the world is doing?
everybody's doing.
Um, could it be?
What is this?
It's Mrs. Miller. I've got a
Tigers.
tiger
Oh,
by the tail.
she's got a tiger by the tail. No, I
Yeah,
recognize the Mrs. Miller.
what you're telling me is that you've watched Tiger King.
I have. Look, literally every person I have talked to that, except maybe my mom has recommended this. And I didn't start it until very recently, but if I it's what to say about it. It's
Yeah.
amazing and crazy and twisty and turny when you just don't think it could get any crazier. It does. Have you
So
watched it?
I, it's
I know
not
you have.
something. I mean, it's not something that you just start and stop. It's almost like you start it, and by the end of the first episode, you're kind of like you. I kind of felt like I was like, "What the hell just happened to me?" And I was exactly, and I legitimately couldn't stop watching it. I watched it all in one day, and I don't know. The whole thing is sad, and the whole thing is crazy, and you don't know who's crazier than the next person, right? Because is it
Because
Carol Baskin or
it's a real
Jeff White
competition.
or well, and that's the thing. You're getting to those last two episodes. Okay, spoiler alert if you haven't watched. Please, 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 if you haven't watched, spoiler alert. I'm not gonna give away too much, but at the end of these last two episodes, like no, everyone's like against everybody else, and I
Yeah.
don't. I think the big evil of the whole thing is Carol Baskin. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I think that's how the other people feel for sure, but like that is another thing. I feel like I took away like I can't really be for any of a few of the people, a few of like the employees of the zoo, the main zoo. That's I'm like, okay, that good for that guy, good for her, whatever, But overall, these like big players, there's not. I just don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel, and I feel like there's more information that we haven't been served. Now, here's my question: is that it? Because it does say on Netflix when you're watching it, season 1, episode 1.
I
Would
think. Well, he was. I here's the thing. What's his name? Alt or whatever the guy's name at the end. Well, I don't want to give anything away. I
hmm.
shouldn't. I don't want to talk about it, but I do think depending on what happens, they could have more stuff. But I think there's so much in litigation, don't you? I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, that means like there's like follow up, right? Like where are they now? If not like immediately, then someday we're gonna have to find out what it. This is definitely gonna be like on. I love the 2020s. I love the
oh,
20s. I guess is what they'll call it. Are we in the
oh
20s? It's so weird.
my god! I have
You're
you
like,
okay?
remember Tiger King? You know what?
It's definitely going to be one of those things, at least for American pop culture, that marks this moment in time.
Yes, it's like,
People watching a gay redneck with a mullet.
oh yeah, and I've
who's-
seen many, but none quite like him.
I don't know if I've ever actually. He is. There's so many interesting things, and I was like tweeting as I was watching last night, and I was like, I have to stop because for people who haven't watched yet, I don't want to give anything away, and that's part of the joy of it is you just need to. I now feel like I'm in on the conversation that everybody else is having, even if I'm
Well,
just looking in the mirror talking about it to myself.
that's the thing. It's like I feel like we said that this many times, and this is not like an original observation of mine, but just you know how much the media is fragmented. Like I can watch Netflix, I can watch Hulu. They both have 1,000 shows. There are shows on television still, apparently. I can stream from this platform or that platform. And like, there's so many shows. Like, I can watch whatever I'm watching that I'm really into. There's a ton of people that are really into it, but there's like another whole segment of people who just haven't ever even watched that. So I kind of feel like it's our mash right now, just because like I don't know anyone who's not watching it. Like like MASH, it was a TV show, kids, and it was when we only had like 3 channels to choose from. And actually, we didn't really watch it in my family, but it was like the highest rated television show of the time. So I feel like this is the closest, like this is close that will come again to something like that.
Yeah, it's like it is cultural. It is cultural, cultural,
It's like
cultural.
a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon. Do, 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 do,
Oh yes.
do. Is there anything else that you're watching? Because I know I am finding myself streaming a lot of stuff now.
I mean, I was just thinking that. I'm like, what was I watching before? Like, what did I do before Tiger King? And well, I had already watched all of Russian Doll, but I was revisiting that because it's really good. Um, Sex Education, it's on Netflix. It's a British show. It has Gillian Anderson. It's
I
charming and
started,
funny.
I started watching it, and I forget why. I think I started watching it while I was on the road. So I just didn't. I wasn't paying attention. I watched the first episode and I was intrigued. I was like, but I just wasn't in it. So now that I'm home, I'm gonna pick that back
Oh
up
yeah, it definitely takes it takes some time to get into it. Now there's been 2 seasons, so I finished both of those seasons, but I am bad. I'm a bad binger. Like I binge. Like very rarely can I start something, know the next episode is there, and not click play. Unless like I actually have somewhere to be, like work, like okay during
now.
that time, or if I like we're doing a podcast, I can turn it off. But I'm just binge crazy. So what happens is like most of the shows I'm interested in, I watch them right when they come out, and then you gotta wait all year for the next season to come out. So, what are you watching? What else are you watching?
I okay, so I to catch up to and be able to talk about it with Charlie Barnett, I watched Russian Doll and I fell madly in love with it. I knew it was not again. I have not had the chance to like really sit down and pay attention and watch television,
Hmm.
so I Russian Doll was in my queue of things I was of picks to watch. I just hadn't started it, so I watched Russian Doll. I loved it. It's so fascinating and funny and goofy. There are moments where I have literally laughed out loud to Russian Doll. Um, I mean,
Yes.
it's really, really good. And Natasha Lyonne, I think, really is so quintessentially New York and so fantastically American. So there's something so great about it. But I also really, really um, have been loving that. I watched. Disney Plus has a new show called Be Our Chef. It's like
Why am
it's
I not
kind of
watching that?
Oh, it is adorable. They've only had 1 episode out, but, they are it's kinda like, what's it called? Nailed It and kinda like Chopped, but with families, and so the first episode was a Cinderella challenge. It's so fun, and it's like if you love Disney like me, it's easy to just it's a good, easy like, they're easy to watch. It's very, very simple to watch.
I like that.
I'm trying to think what else I've been streaming. I streamed,
Like,
Tiger King. Oh, I watched Frozen Northern Lights on Disney Plus. Have you seen that?
no, I haven't. I watch like
It's
movies
like,
when I go there.
it's Disney, it's Northern Lights, it's a Lego short, it's like Frozen Legos, it's so fun.
Aw. Yeah, I mean,
And go on.
I did watch The Mandalorian, but like when I go to Disney Plus, occasionally I'll watch like an episode of Simpsons or something, but usually I'm just like, I'm here to watch a movie I've already seen and I already know I love.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Disney Plus is definitely good for the comfort factor, which I respond well to because it's kind of how it's the majority of watching that I tend to do is repetitive watching things
mhm.
I've already seen because I'm comfortable with it, and I usually will put it on while I'm working in the background.
Yeah, you can get
But
something else done.
I did watch The Mandalorian. I don't know if we talked about that. I think we did on the podcast, and I really was very, very into it. It's like it's built like a western,
Mhm.
So it's to me, it's like it's new world, new storytelling with or it's a new like it's a new idea with old storytelling is what I meant to say. So it's like it just feels really, it just feels really classic Hollywood. And I really really like it a lot. And oh, and awesome! I have I have gone back deep into my roots, and I'm like watching every musical I can like possibly get my hands on, whether it's a DVD that I've previously owned or I have gone because I'm just struggling to just keep the musical music going in my house. I subscribed to Broadway HD.
So where do you subscribe to that?
So you go to BroadwayHD.com. Look at me just promoting
Okay.
it.
It's like it's its own platform. It's not like
It's a platform, but I think you can do it through Amazon.com. But I haven't figured out how to link them yet on my device. I think I have an Apple TV.
yeah.
I know I have an Apple TV, but
I
I think
think
but
I think I do.
haven't I haven't figured out how to connect them so I can watch it on my Apple TV through my Amazon, my Prime TV app. So it's like, but I think that's how you can do it. But they have like, I watched Kinky Boots the other night. I watched Carousel with Jesse Mueller and Kelly O'Hara, and it was so damn good, and maybe the best version of soliloquy I've ever heard. Um, it's just fantastic. And Disney Plus is Once Upon a Mattress with Carol Burnett and Tracy Ullman, which is so good. So like right now
I
I'm in a
had no
musical phase.
idea.
Oh my god, it's so good, and it's really campy. That's from the early 2000s. Once Upon a Mattress is maybe from
Yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s. And it's like one of those Disney like made for television musical movies. I think they made it for what was it called, the Sunday nights
Like a Wonderful World of
Wonderful World
Disney.
of Disney. Yeah, I think it was made for Wonderful World of Disney, but it was so good.
It sounds very risque. I mean, I know the show, but for Disney.
I mean, it's interesting because I forgot the. Oh, I'm not gonna give anything away, but well, this is at the front end of the show. But I forgot the plot point of the one girl is pregnant and she has to they have to marry the prince so she and her love can get married. I was like, I forget, and it's an old Mary Rogers musical. I forgot that plot point, but it's basically the Princess and the Pea is the story, and so it's so
Yeah.
delightful, it's so fun. Sarah Jessica Parker did it on Broadway for the revival. I forget who did it originally, but anyway, yeah. So there's all that. That's,
That's what we're watching, guys.
yeah. Anything else you would recommend?
I would say if you haven't watched Fleabag, I did the same thing that you were talking about a little bit ago. Like I watched like the first episode. Maybe I accidentally started with the second episode and I was like, this is I could tell this is good, but I'm just like not that interested in it. And then I went um I went and watched it again, like I just started again and I like, it's only 2 seasons as well and that's it and that is not enough. And I know she wants to go out on a high note, but there I could watch that like for at least another 2 seasons. I love it. So if you haven't seen that,
I've heard Fleabag is
it is
remarkable.
it makes me feel like um in a way like now I can accomplish nothing. It's because it's like perfect. It's like why are the rest of us even here to watch Fleabag? That's why we're here. So you know what else I've been watching?
What? Tell me.
Drag queens from their living room. I've particularly been watching your story times when I can.
Yeah, the story time thing. So here's a great conversation that I would love to have briefly here tonight. So I find the story time, with the drag queen story time or story time with Nina, as I call it for my show on Instagram or however queens do it. I find it to be a really nice release for, especially in these times, for families to gather around their smart devices and watch a really colorful character read celebrated and acclaimed books for children, to children. And this it's as for the last several years, storytime has come under attack
Mhm.
from the right and the conservative right and the alt right and the religious right, the right are wrong, wrong, wrong. But it has come under attack, and that uh, that that their gaze has fixated upon myself and my story
Mhm.
times, and it's disappointing and sad, and it's I don't know how to address. I don't know how to talk about it quite, but I think it's important to talk about it. We did the story time last week that was um, hijacked for all intents and purposes, for lack of a better phrase or word. It was hijacked by several people who wanted to spew really dangerous and hateful and hurtful rhetoric and words and um, in the presence while children were watching and while
Mhm.
parents were watching with their kids, and um, it's disappointing to me, especially again in this time period that we're all kind of living in, that we have to deal with this, and there is no pause for um, there's no pause for ignorance. Ignorance doesn't stop, I guess.
No, if anything, I think it can, and I truly think that what you are doing with these story times helps with that, and that's why that's a double-edged sword, right? Two-sided coin. I'm not sure of the metaphor, but that's also why it's come under attack from these people who don't want that in the world. They don't want tolerance and kindness and education.
You
They
know,
want ignorance. They've
I
embraced
tell you,
it.
it it makes such an impact for me to be able to do it, and to be able to engage families and their children in this way, to have conversations about self-worth and confidence and negotiating a world that may not be kind, and how little ones can do that. It's so important to me, and
Mhm.
it is really the idea that the messenger. I don't, I don't, I really honestly don't know how to talk. I have so many feelings about this, and I'm trying to be as neutral as possible in
Say
my.
it. Like I feel like we're among for our listeners. We're among
I,
friends.
I find it to be. I find it to be. I think it's really important that people, specifically queer parents or parents of queer children, have
Mhm.
access to resources and materials that speak to their needs and that fulfill those needs, and do not push them outside of the conversation or the realm of possibility that their existence is also valid and valuable. I think it's really important that someone like me exists to allow people the opportunity to have a conversation with their children about diversity and difference, and shows them that we're all not the same, and being the same by all of us not being the same, that's good, and difference is okay. But you can't, for every, I don't know, people have to. It is this idea of being vigilant and mindful and aware of your surroundings, and that's not just physically, but it's also on these social
Mhm.
platforms
For sure.
that where people are monitoring your activity so that they can get you, quote unquote, and make
Mhm.
and be the loudest and be heard. I I just I it's I'm trying my best now at this point with what happened this past week to try to figure out how to find a platform and a resource that allows me to reach these same families and children in a healthy, responsible way that does not expose them to the hate, the
Yeah.
ignorance, the bigotry, the racism, the homophobia, the misogyny, um, and really the language and the rhetoric of the alt right and the far right. And I I've had a lot of really different kind of awarenesses this week. This has been a hard week, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to negotiate and navigate this because I know what I believe and I know what my heart believes and I know what I'm doing is important
Yeah.
and I know what I'm doing is essential and necessary. Not just for these families and these kids, but also for me. I need to do this. This is not something I'm like doing on a whim or this is not something I'm doing just for fun. I believe in this. And I believe it needs to be happening and I believe that my voice matters and it should be heard. In turn, if I can make people hear my voice, then they hear all these other voices that that are part
Mhm.
of this movement.
Yeah, I think that is, again, I think it's a testament that it is important. If it was, it's not that it's not that like people aren't doing important things and not getting this kind of attention, but this kind of attention follows something that is so necessary because the reason it's necessary is because there are these kinds of people in the world. There are these ideas in the world. There are these attitudes that one kind of person is worth more than another kind of person. And to confront that, you're gonna get the people who live in that space and have that
Mhm,
attitude. You're gonna get them mad. You're gonna
mhm.
get their resistance, and that's in a way, like to me, that is. I mean, I don't know if it's like it's terrible, it's awful. I hate everything about it, but it's also a sign that you are reaching people, I think. I mean,
Yeah, it was. I will tell you, I have been in this somewhat of a blissful bubble. It has happened. Like I have seen it happen to other entertainers, especially locally. I've seen it happen to Selena T. West. I've seen,
mhm,
she has been really marked by organizations that don't deserve to be mentioned on our podcast.
yeah,
And it has happened to me on a much smaller scale, which is so right odd, but it's happened.
yeah,
But I've seen Selena get the brunt end of it, and think, how can I help? What do I say? How do I navigate this? And not know, honestly, not know what to say or how to even offer any kind of help or assistance other than say, which I have in the past, anything you need, let me know, and then continue to do the work as well.
mhm,
Position yourself to do children's, story times, and continue to do the work and not be told and not back down. And I'm gonna say this, I commend her in the face of adversity for pushing through because man,
mhm,
this is tough. This is really hard.
yeah,
And I have faced different kind of adversity up to this point with different stories in my life and this feels similar but on a much different level and almost a more dangerous level in some ways because you don't know ultimately at the end of the day how many people it is and
and
who they essentially are,
who's listening to them? Yeah, it's
who is listening to them. And when people are publishing your address in forums and people are putting your legal name and saying really dangerous things, I mean, it's not it's not a happy situation, but I also realize it's not. I mean, I'm doing everything. I mean, to calm our listeners and you and
mhm,
myself. I mean, I'm doing everything necessary, and every necessary precaution has been made. But
yeah. Just it's just you shouldn't have to, you know.
I mean, I think the thing is that I think I'm surprised that again. I'll say this again. I think I'm surprised that in this time period of a global pandemic where people are dying needlessly. I mean, and suffering, and really, this disease makes people die alone. That's the most painful and really sad thing
I
about this.
know.
That people are dying alone. That people can't see past their own beliefs to stop for a second and think about how their actions or their words impact somebody else. I'm not perfect. These people who are coming for me are not perfect. Um, but I definitely do believe that their language and their rhetoric is dangerous and must be stopped.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you f- you feel like just like the time period that I've lived, the end of the 20th century and into the 21st century, you just see so much progress, and if you look back in history you see so much progress, like that's how you feel like it's going to go. And I know it's going to go that way. That's how it's going. That's where we're going. And there are enough people who want to see their kids have their kids exposed to something like your story time, where there's messages of self-worth, of being yourself. I guess that's the same thing. Identity, messages of acceptance. I think there's enough people out there that are at least trying to do the right thing for their kids and expose them to the right thing and not let them be ignorant. But there's these big hurdles to get over on the way. And it is progress is hard. It's tough. Like, it's just like human nature. If something changes, we resist that. We're like, wait, what's going on? Like, what? And especially for people who they've only been exposed to ignorance. I'm not making any excuses for anybody. Everybody's had all of the resources to become a good person and not an asshole. But I'm saying, like, for somebody who hasn't, I think that's their reaction because it's a change to them. Because for me, or for you, like, we know a lot of different kinds of people and we love a lot of different kinds of people. So it's not it's not uncomfortable for us. It's not you know what I mean?
Well, no, and I think like it is it's an ongoing conversation, an ongoing battle that I have within myself to negotiate the relationships that I have personally in my life that might be also uncomfortable with the idea that I, as a drag queen, may also enter the children's space and want to produce children's content and make it an impact on lives of queer children or queer parents or families in general in a positive way. And I have to negotiate those feelings with a variety of other things that I deeply believe in. And at some point, like I just have to say, I'm still not going to give up on what I believe.
Yeah.
And I can't sacrifice what I believe to make other people comfortable in their own insecurities or to sit
Hmm.
and allow, like, I can't give someone a pillow to sit in their own insecurity and say, "Oh, right, see, I told you my own insecurity was actually accurate, and it's your insecurity, not mine. You're the one who's faulty. You're the one who's broken. You're the
Hmm.
one who's." And that's the thing that I keep talking about in all these story times that I'm trying to tell these kids. You have value. You are enough. You have worth. You have the right to be here, and you have the right to share space with someone who's not like you. And it's okay for you to like somebody who's not like you. And
In
I then
fact,
I
it's important.
it's and it's it you will have to go through life meeting somebody who is not like you and engaging and interacting. So why not make it easy on yourself and learn how to engage, have a conversation with, and fall in love with people who are not like you. And having this conversation with myself is difficult because it definitely does challenge my belief system in thinking that I need to be welcome. I'm conflicted, right? I need to welcome everyone. I need to make everyone feel comfortable when ultimately on 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 in this conversation to many people on both sides of the coin, I'm a freak. What is the desire for Nina West to be in the children's space? What is that about, right? And I think that is
I think
upsetting.
if you
conversation.
come from a place where like you are well, everyone is welcome to be open to this and to experience this. You're not saying no one can come. You're just saying you have to respect the rules of my space. It's your story time. It's your home. It's your, it's your interaction with these kids. So, like, like being welcoming, if I open my home to someone, I expect that they're going to at least try to respect it. Maybe they can't wait to leave, but you know what I mean. Like that, it's sort of that. It's that kind of yes. Like I can be open to you, but I can't have that. Doesn't give you carte blanche to uh, like degrade people, degrade me, threaten people, threaten me. It's like that's not really. That's not like we said. We talked about this recently. Like that is not on the table. That is not what being welcoming is about, and that is not what making people feel comfortable is about. It's like it's okay to make people feel uncomfortable too. That's what art is for. That's what drag how it probably a little bit, even if that's not the intention. I'm sure over the years many people have been uncomfortable.
Well, it's an interesting conversation too because when you think about it, people think like the Disneyfying of drag is selling out drag when it is such a dangerous point and place to be in our art form to
Hmm.
be someone who is celebrating um, it's a crazy conversation and commentary on what this means because not every queer person wants a drag queen in that children's space and
Hmm.
a lot of people on the other side of it don't want a drag queen in the children's space and it is it's a very interesting conversation because you can't it's just hard. It is hard. It is hard. And it's people think again, I've heard this Disneyfying of drag as some kind of like belittling of almost like what I do.
Hmm.
And it's like actually like it's pretty damn hard to um to walk in this world and I'm sure there are many other queens who do these story times would
Yeah.
agree it's really difficult to hold your head high when you have people calling you really nasty things and telling you that you're not worth it and that you are the reason why um, coronavirus is happening. Which is one of the things that was
Yeah.
said to you, and that you are doing X, Y, and Z, which are dangerous, horrific, terrible accusations.
Hmm.
And it's and I don't know. Being drag is still punk. Being drag is still in everyone's face. Now,
Hmm.
talk about how punk it is when you're in the children's space. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And I'll tell you what. I'm not. That doesn't scare me, but it does make me very aware that doing it's going to take a special person to be able to do this, and I'm not backing down.
Yeah. I think you should be commended for that. And I think we could talk about this forever, but like I I have so many things, so many reactions to that because um, some of those thoughts and ideas, like
I know it's
Tiger
a mistake.
Gang.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I'm totally derailed now. I'm totally picturing a blonde mullet. But yeah, I think well the Disneyfying comments. Like, I think it's okay for people in a community that I am not a part of. So I'm speaking from the outside to have a conversation about who they are and who they are as a community. But you have to realize drag already exists in so many forms that
Mhm.
in like people are mad RuPaul has a show and that's doing one thing and other people love it and then people think this person is too punk and or isn't pretty or whatever the stereotypes about drag queens. I've heard them 1,000 times in my life. There's already so many different kinds and so many different ways. People are doing it online. People are just creating great looks. People are performing in bars. People have been reading to children in libraries.
Forever.
And And,
It's not new.
or
This is
and
not new.
bringing their kids to the pride parade and seeing that happen there, like, it's not
Mhm.
it's not like definitely I think obviously like where you're going with it is taking it to a different place and a bigger place, and I think that at least that's what I hope will happen for you. But yeah, so it's kind of like, and I also kind of feel that way. Like, I know that these people are out there trying to get a reaction more than anything, and just love to spew their hate. But it's kind of like for other people who are pretending that they're different and pretending like, oh, I'm just a family values person, and I'm a religious person and I don't agree with this. Like, then go raise your own bigoted children, because like the people who are coming here are coming with an open mind. They're coming with a will to share a message of tolerance and acceptance and inclusion and diversity and self awareness and self fulfillment with their kids. And if you're
Well,
not, then well, like those people are going to teach those kids those values anyway. And I'm sorry that you don't like it. you know?
yeah, and that is the thing. I mean, it's like it is dangerous to me to say to someone like Selena, you can't be in our libraries, you can't be in our schools. And then when you go conversely, and she goes and she starts her own program online to do drag queen story time, you know, back off. Like
Hmm.
like she is doing it on like she's doing it on her own. Converse, like same for me. Like I'm doing it on my space in my place, and people are coming to me to receive this programming and to receive this kind of conversation and this kind of education and this kind of you know what I mean. I don't even. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's it's like if you don't it's as simple as I don't watch Fox News. I don't want to see it, so I don't watch it. So if you don't want to see it, don't turn on my channel. Don't watch it. And I respectfully really do believe everyone has the right to their opinions until they encroach on the rights of others, and you're trying people are trying to silence me, and that's not their right, and that is not that's they're not given that right to silence people who don't agree with them. And
Yeah.
my right is to coexist with people, and I support that right of others. I've put it into practice. I've shown that. I just because we don't agree, and just because I don't like you, I'm not here to tear you down. I'm here to lift my community up. That's how I behave. That's how I act. And I don't for yeah, I don't know. I don't foresee this. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was really well said.
Until I lost my train of thought at the end.
Because you'd already said everything. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
honey.
just this that's do you want to do good vibes?
Let's do them,
Because
honey. What?
that is my good vibe for the day. My good vibe for the day is Nina West, Andrew Levitt, my friend who I'm so proud of, who is a punk in a star.
I love you. Thanks. I'm going to say this. My good vibe is, and I think this will echo to everyone out there, and it's so important. My good vibe is your friendships and connecting and staying connected to these people. My good vibe is Patricia,
Oh.
because you can't, it's true. I am the sum of my parts, like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know, but like you make me better. You push me to
Oh.
be better, and it's needed in this time period. And this would otherwise be so isolated and alone without your friends, guys, and without them checking in on you and having someone for yourself to FaceTime. And I mean, this would be tough. And so my good vibe is my never-ending friendship with this incredible person on the other end of this computer screen. Patricia, I love you very much.
I love you too. We're
You know,
gushing.
for
We
gushers
love
for gushers.
gushers but gushers.
Now,
Oh,
before
we're gonna
we
do some
go,
inside jokes for a while. Hang on.
Before we go, I know. I want to remind everybody about what we've got coming up here on DragCast. So we have, there it is. We have some incredible interviews coming up featuring an episode of Fortune Feimster, Ross Matthews, Simon Chong, Jared Harris and Allegra Riggio, Jackie Tone. More interviews coming up with Michael J. Scott.
Hilarious, apparently.
Scott, Casey Levy, and of course with the amazing Daisy Ridley. So make sure you stay tuned to DragCast. Follow us on Spotify. Listen to us on Stitcher. Go to dragcast.net. Find all the episodes at ninawest.com. And make sure you submit your questions for all these incredible people who are coming onto the podcast. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for being so damned wonderful to this podcast and to myself and to Patricia.
We love you.
We love you. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Patricia.
And this is DragCast with Nina West. Closing us out and taking us to a happy place tonight. Here is Sarah Bareilles and John Legend with A Safe Place to Land.
Holding your breath is safer than breathing. When letting go is braver than keeping. When innocent words turn to lies, and you can't hide by closing your eyes.
When pain is all that they offer, like a kiss from the lips of a monster. You know the famine so well, but never met the feast. When home is the belly of a beast. The ocean is wild and over your head,
And the boat beneath you is sinking. Don't need room for your bags. Hope is all that you have.
to see the Lord spread twice. Hold your babies tight. Surely someone will reach out a hand
And show you a safe place to land.
Oh, imagine yourself in a building up in flames, being told to stand still.
The window is wide open. This leap is on faith. You don't know who will catch you, but maybe somebody will. The ocean is wild and over your head, and the boat beneath you is sinking. Don't need room for your bags. Hope is all that you have. So say the Lord's Prayer twice. Hold your babies tight. Surely someone will reach out a hand and show you a safe place to land. Be the hand of a hopeful stranger, little scared but just strong enough. Be the light in the dark of this danger till the sun comes up. Be the the sun comes up,
Oh,
till the sun